Marchwood Priory Hospital is housed in a Grade II listed building which dates from the Regency period around 1820. The British Power Boat Company nearby in Hythe is now reclaimed from the sea, but at the time the owner Hubert Scott Payne, whilst at Supermarine, is credited with employing R.J. Mitchell and winning the Schneider Trophy before buying the boatyard and including aircraftman T. Lawrence, better known as Lawrence of Arabia, to promote the role of the motor torpedo boat before World War II. Given these claims to fame, it is perhaps not surprising that his purchase of Marchwood Park is almost forgotten, but according to the Scott Payne biography, the property was purchased in September 1939 for £2,500, with a budget of a further £5,500 set aside to refurbish it as a centre to train women boat builders. The house and grounds became the Marchwood Park Training Centre, and used for the design, manufacture and assembly initially of 16-foot Admiralty dinghies and later components for motor torpedo and motor gunboats constructed at the Hythe boatyard. Today the significance of Marchwood Park is lost, but at the time it was reported that to maintain output whilst menfolk were fighting the war, a girls' boat-building university was established at the country mansion. The article goes on, initiative is essential these days for the successful prosecution of the war. In the circumstances, it is heartening to learn that at least one local firm not only appreciates this fact, but is determined to put theories into practice. Another article describes the women as crashing a closed profession. The report goes on to say, shipbuilding, one of the professions adopted by men, has now been opened to women by Mr. Hubert Scott Payne, the well-known designer. All types of motorcraft are built by him, and when conditions demanded drastic changes in normal production methods, he decided to break down the bar against women workers. From left to right in the picture are Miss Kay Mason, former domestic servant, Miss Joyce Utting, Miss Jean Gregory, art school students, and Miss Kitty Skinner, office secretary, at work on a motor boat. From 1943 to 49, the site was handed over to the Air Ministry for airmen recovering from surgery following burns. Young airmen who were badly burned during the Second World War underwent an early version of plastic surgery carried out at the Queen Victoria Hospital, East Grinstead, followed by rehabilitation courses at Marchwood Park. During the war, a group of young men, mostly RAF aircrew, formed a social club during their long recoveries and called themselves the Guinea Pig Club in honour of the experimental treatments of pioneering plastic surgeon Sir Archibald Mackindo. A reunion held at Marchwood Park in 2003 proved how fondly these airmen are remembered even today. They included Molly Todd from Southampton and Peggy Wilson of North Road, Dibden Purley. Mrs. Wilson said the airmen went to dances at the Marchwood building that had a red roof and was known as the Red Peril. Their facial injuries meant some of them found it hard to mingle with the locals, and they were understandably bitter about what had happened. Marge Blake's sister went to dances there. She said it was very sad to see and pretend not to notice their burns. Jan Morris's mum worked at the Ordnance Survey during the war and used to visit the burns unit for dances. The family photos from David Surplice of his nan from the Crescent at Marchwood with colleagues who always talked of having worked at Marchwood Park. In 1965, the bypass was built through the original Marchwood Park estate, cutting the house off from most of the land, which then became a preparatory school, followed by a pony trekking centre, before purchased in 1987 by the Priory Hospital Group.